Hi there everyone and welcome back to another edition of Around the Grounds presented by PSS International Removals. We start today in Denmark and the Danish Australian Football League, where the Copenhagen Giants have upset the Farum Cats in the grand final. The Cats got off to a ripping start, taking a 21-point lead into the quarter-time break, but after that it was all Copenhagen as they piled on 8 goals to 3 after the first change. The tight 9-point win was the first time the Giants had beaten the impressive Cats in 2018. It's the Giants' second premiership in the Daffel. To Sweden, where Solna Axemen have found their best footy of the season to defeat the Norway Dockers in the SAF Grand Final. The Axemen hadn't defeated the Dockers since the opening round of the season, but when the Grand Final took place on Saturday, they found the form that got them that victory earlier in the year. A 33-point win for Axemen sees them champions of Sweden, as they redeemed themselves from last year's Grand Final loss to Sodermalm. The Axemen will now be eligible for the AFL Europe Champions League tournament in Amsterdam in April 2019. Still looking at the Swedish clubs, and in particularly the Port Malmö Lynx, who have defeated the Odense Lionesses on the weekend in the WNAFL Grand Final. The girls' side withstood a fierce challenge from Odense to prevail in another tight contest by just 5 points. After losing their first clash against Odense earlier this season, the Lynx made amends in this tight contest as they too prepare to make their way to Amsterdam next year. To Oslo now, where the winner-takes-all grand final between the Oslo Crows and the Oz Battlers has seen the Crows prevail as the victors. After the Battlers achieved their first win against Oslo in August, the Crows ensured they didn't lose the big dance as they won the big final by 42 points. On a very windy day, the Crows started off well and never looked back against the Battlers, who came home hard in the last quarter but were too far behind to put any real pressure on the hosts. The win for Oslo means the Kangaroo Cup will stay in the nation's capital once again. To France now, where their footy season has kicked off with the annual French Cup that has been won by the Alpha Lions in 2018. After topping their pool, the Lions found themselves in the grand final against the Paris Cockatoos, who also topped their pool. In a highly contested grand final, it was the Lions who found a way to win in Bordeaux over Paris, but it wasn't all bad news for the Parisians. They did win the women's division thanks to a great performance by the Cockerels, who overcame host the Bordeaux Bombers to win the Women's French Cup. Finally to Israel, where the Tel Aviv Cheetahs, a newly formed team in Israel, will make their way to the Euro Cup in 2018. After forming in May, the team has made some significant progress already this year, and they will make their way to Cork next month. It comes after Israel has already had the Jerusalem Peace Lions in the AFL Europe competition, but now a new club has formed who are ready to grow the game throughout the region. Check out their latest promotional video here.
שלום, קוראים לי שיר שלו, ואני המנהל והקפטן של קבוצת הברדלסים התל אביבים. הברדלסים התל אביבים היא קבוצת פוטבול אוסטרלי, שהמקור שלהם הגיע מפרויקט שהוקם לפני 10 שנים. ב-2008, קבוצת השלום הוקמה במטרה לחבר בין פלסטינאים וישראלים שילמדו ביחד את המשחק המאתגר, ולבסוף השתתפו באליפות העולם באוסטרליה. פוטבול אוסטרלי היווה את הפלטפורמה לשיח ותקשורת בין שני הצדדים שעזרו לגשר על הפערים ביניהם. הפרויקט המקורי הופסק, אבל הקבוצה המשיכה להתקיים בתור אריות השלום הירושלמים, שהשחקנים בה התחלפו תוך כדי השנים. השנה, חלק משחקני הקבוצה לשעבר עברו לתל אביב, ולפני כ4 חודשים התחלנו להתאמן באופן שבועי בספורטק תל אביב. מאז, אנחנו עובדים על שיפור יכולות המשחק שלנו, ולמזלנו התברכנו בטרי דגני, שהצטרף לקבוצה והפך להיות המאמן שלנו.
Hi, I'm Terry Degani, and I'm the current coach and player for the Tel Aviv Cheetahs. So I moved to Israel in August 2017, and being a Melbourne boy myself, footy is a major part of our culture. It's a major part of who I am. We grow up watching it, supporting it and playing it. And one of the first things I did moving here was to look for a local team to play with. I was fortunate enough to find the guys who were playing around here, and I still remember the first moment when I got to training and saw the ball being kicked around and just smiling. Ever since then, it's been a journey of growth. I've been really amazed with the way that all the players have been receptive to my advice. Obviously, this is a foreign game to them, a foreign movement, and anywhere that I've been willing to give my instruction, they've really been receptive to it.
Now before we go, it's a big congratulations to our grand final ticket giveaway winner, Jared Sandals. Jared will now be off to the big dance on Saturday to see the blockbuster contest between the West Coast Eagles and the Collingwood Magpies. It is, after all, the biggest game of all, and it's taking place on Saturday morning for us here in Europe. Will it be a record 16 premierships for Nathan Buckley's men, or will it be a fourth premiership since 1992 for the West Coast Eagles? If you don't know where to watch the game, make sure you make your way down to your local Belushi's to watch the actions on the big screens. If you can't do that, be sure to purchase a Watch AFL subscription today. That's all we have time for at AFL Europe. Thanks for joining us again this week on Around the Grounds. Be sure to keep up to date with AFL Europe via our social channels, where you can find highlights from our events, interviews with players and tutorials from those involved in the game. Enjoy a week of footy, and we'll see you again next week for Around the Grounds presented by PSS International Removals.